Hello, everybody. I'm with you. The Lord is on our side. It is a blessing that He lives in our life. He walks with us. He's leading us by His Spirit. He led us by His Spirit. He was with us every step of the way. When me and Grandma had went to Miami, and we had been there a good while, and that what it was that's where we went to church. Grandma, she passed away, like I spoke of in one of the last interviews, is 1968, and Miss Ward, which became my mother, she got up with us and found out and was led by the Spirit of God. The Lord spoke to her and said, "Since Joe don't have nobody now, you let him live at your place." She was like a mother to me. She was old enough to be my mother, of course, but she took up. We took up with her. In fact, she took time with me. I took time with her in the Lord. And but see, when she was at her place, the house that she said that was given to her, big house, so we was living there at the house. And I was working, and I was doing a little something, mixing ink for the Reader's Digest at the printing press there. But anyway, what happened was there in West Hollywood, north of Miami, one night it all happened. She was in her room. It was that night. I was in my bedroom there at that house. I was asleep, but then I woke up in the middle of the night. And see how God has always dealt with me. The whole ceiling lit up in color. Oh, and then I saw the view. It was like a view. It was like a view that of the golden steps from the east to the west. It was carried out from one side of the vision to the other. Golden steps, crystal clear. I saw the view of it. Somewheres, all I could see, like I say, when you see something other, you see it. You see a view of anything, you don't see yourself. But you see the view of what was taking place. The golden steps from the east to the west that went up, 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 and continually went up on up under the clouds. But then who was there but right next, I was next to there, I said, "What's happening here?" Everyone was rejoicing down at the bottom of the golden steps. They was shaking their hands. They was rejoicing. And the main thing was they was dressed in white. I heard the response. "Oh, they're looking for the king." Oh, king. Well, I looked out from a distance where I was at. I looked straight up to the top where the clouds was the steps went into the clouds. The golden steps that was clear as crystal. I looked and I kept looking. As I kept looking, I didn't see anything, but I kept my eyes straight on the top. And finally, there it was. Look, there, at the spot where I saw at the very coming over the top, there was a little man dressed in white with his arms wide open. Oh, you know who he was. That was the king. And you know really who that king was, don't you? His name starts with a J. Yes, it was Jesus. I knew it, and I don't know what it was. It seemed like I pressed through going straight. going straight toward the bottom of the steps. I wanted to get to the bottom of the steps. And when I got to the bottom of the steps, I fell down on my knees and I looked up and I said, Lord, like you're looking up, Lord, Lord. And then I started running up the steps to meet him. I wanted to get to him. I wasn't going to just stand there and wait till he got to me. I wound up running up the steps to meet him. Well, the next thing I knew of, I'd met him halfway. And then what happened? He stopped me. Looked like he was about 6 feet tall in his glory. He said, hello, Joe. How you doing, man? Glad to see you. Then he turned me around. And then he said, putting his arms around my shoulder, he says, let's go on back down to the other brethren that's waiting for us. The word us. I was with him. And we walked down side by side. We walked down side by side. And we had come down to where the others were. And walked down to the crowds. Now, it spoke. It says, well, when Jesus comes back, what you mean? When Jesus comes back, he's going to come back in the clouds of glory, and he's going to receive us all. Yes, he is. He's going to receive every one of us. But I'm going to tell you something. It's not going to be exactly like man thinks it's going to be. It never was. When his first advent, when Jesus came, he came as a babe. The Jews looked for him as the Messiah would come to take a stand to run the Roman soldiers out. They was going to be set free. They was going to be delivered. There's going to be a Roman. But see, it turned out better. It included us too, didn't it? But see, he came in an opposite manner from what man thought he would come. He came as a babe, wrapped in swaddling clothes. Why did they not know this? Well, for one great reason, if they had read Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, if they had read the Word of God, they would have known how their Messiah would come. It spoke of it. But then, so what? He came as a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes. Now you see, that's the thing about it. God is not going to never let man figure him out. He'll never let him. God will never let man figure him out. He never has, and he never will. God always takes a detour. What man thinks, what man says, yes, he's coming back, just like the Bible said he would. It's going to happen just that way. But it's not going to be the way a lot of men thinks it's going to be. It's going to be greater. A lot of them, so them that are not real in God, them that are not concerned, them that are not really like they should be in God, they're not going to realize it when it happens. It will be like a thief in the night. Surely it will. Some preachers say, well, you see, it's like this. When Jesus comes back, he's not going to touch the earth. No, he won't have to. You know why? I'll tell you the reason why. He's going to stand up in the midst of us all. He won't have to touch the earth. We will all be changed to be like him. And it's going to be great. It's a blessing. But then there's a lot that will take place. See, God is a jealous God. He never has wanted man to figure him out, and he never will. He says, man says it's going to be this way. I see how it's going to happen. He's going to come in the clouds of glory. He's going to this. He's going to do that. Them that are true to God will see him. Them that are real in God, them that are ready, will see him. Because then when he comes, he's going to bring he's going to have a great anointing. with him. The great anointing like man has never had before will be released, and it will change us. We shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. There's a lot more that can be spoken of. But we walked with Jesus back down the steps. You know what? You know what that means, don't you? It means one thing. When he comes back, I myself, Joe Martin McDaniel, Joe Martin. McDaniel is the name of my family tree, but the two first names, Joe Martin, will be described in the different videos. Joe Martin, which is two anointed names by God. You will come back with him when he comes. He will do the work. He said, I will be only a source that I will present myself into the midst of thee. Well then, you mean that, are you saying you're Jesus? No, I would never be Jesus. I am not the one that purchased mankind. But I am a servant of the Lord for all those that are in this world that love Jesus. But this whole world's going to know it when it's over. It's going to be greater than what you can imagine. That special touch is there. Wherever I fit in, whatever I do, I will be a part of it when he returns. Because the real you, the ones that are true to God, the ones that love God, the ones that are true to God and really have him in their life, you know, as it said in Colossians, the 3rd chapter, in the 3rd verse, we're hid away with Christ in God. See, what you see, this, you see me say, oh, there's Joe. No, I'm not Joe. This is what I live in. The real Joe Martin is hid away with Christ in God. The devil can't touch him. The devil can't touch me. He can shake this vessel up. He can shake my life up. But he cannot destroy. Of course, God's going to protect us. We are all like vehicles. We're all like cars that shall someday, we will all have a new car, which will be our glorified body because of him. He will do the work. We are only instruments in his hands. God is spirit. John 4:24. He abides in us. We're all shelters for his presence, that he will do his work through. And how it turns out, only God has the answer. But this is great. So therefore, the main purpose for us is to be prepared. When he comes back, he'll bring the real you back with him. We're hid away with Christ in God. Colossians 3:3. And when he comes back, he'll have you. He'll place the real you inside your vessel, which will change to be like him. And he will stand up there. We are a creation from God. It's different from all other creations. We got a lot to be thankful for. So I enjoyed talking with you about this, where I walk with Jesus. Look for the next video. Joe Martin walks with Jesus, number 2. Look for it. It will describe another great experience after I had presented Dr. Patrick. It all took place. But God is first. God will always do the work. We're only instruments that he will abide and live in. We are vessels. We're all instruments. Different from all other creation. We're habitations for God to live in. He had to come himself as a sacrifice. God had to take his spirit. God had to come down himself in the form of flesh and become a sacrifice. God give his own self for us Oh, he loved us. That showed he loved us. He loves us so much. He gave his own self that we could become like him, that he would have us to live in forever. God, we are his housing, his source. So look for my next video as we spoke of it. Joe Martin Walks with Jesus, number 2. We will see you. Look for it. It's the great next experience that we went through with. You need to hear this. We love you all now, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.